I was only 18 years of age. I worked with 18,000 people. And a lot of...
When Graham Rowland walked into the steelworks 36 years ago, he was one of 18,000 workers. Now it looks like that number by next year will have shrunk to just 3,500.
It's just frightening now because we wonder what it's all going to end, you know. There's only so many people you require to make steel, and we get into such a manning level now where you wonder if it gets any closer to the bone, are we actually going to make a ton of steel here anymore?
They can produce up to 5 million tonnes of steel here every year. It's just money they're struggling to make. Losses are vast, say the owners Tata Steel, blaming cheap Chinese imports, a punitive exchange rate and high energy costs. The annual gas and electricity bill here is £150 million. How much money is being lost here on a weekly basis?
We're losing significant amounts of money. It would be imprudent for me to actually quote that, but it's many, many, many tens of millions of pounds, and that's unsustainable long term.
Hence another round of job losses in Britain's beleaguered steel industry. 1,050 announced today by Tata, most of them here in Port Talbot. And of course, when something like this happens, the impact is always felt far beyond the factory gates. This town's steelworks is so important to the region economically, a recent study concluded that every job on site supports at least another in the wider community. Because this is a town which has been defined by the steelworks it borders.
My father started there, I think, 1930 odd. Both my brothers worked there, all the family. And it's just dying, it's gone.
In a nearby cafe we meet Angela. Her son's in the steelworks. Her husband was too until he was made redundant 7 years ago.
We lost our home through that.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. We lost our home through that. But
you worried something similar might happen to your son?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. He is very worried. He is. I mean, I don't know what's happening now, you know. He may hear something when he goes in tonight.
They've been making steel in Port Talbot for over 100 years. And in 1951, they became the envy of the industry.
There now emerges the Abbey Steelworks, the £60 million mammoth project, which 4 years ago the Steel Company of Wales started to build. Today, this triumph of British private enterprise provides the government with its greatest export asset. The Chancellor of the Exchequer, Mr. Hugh Gateskill, comes to open the largest steel plant in Europe.
The government then was facing a city of steel, in its heyday employing 20,000. Now there's barely that number left across the whole of the UK sector. What's your message to the government?
Message to the government is we need to be being serious about industry and manufacturing within the UK. We can't carry on and just leaving the Chinese come in and make and build everything for us.
With almost 5,000 job losses across the industry in the last year, politicians today again joined unions in calling for state intervention. Plaid Cymru said the Welsh Government should take a temporary stake in Tata to help save jobs. The Welsh Government in turn said the responsibility rests with Whitehall.
We will do everything that we can. But the fundamental questions facing steel production in Wales go far beyond our devolved responsibilities. I now call on the UK government to step up and play its part. Now is the time for swift and decisive action.
The government says it has taken action in terms of more British steel being bought and on energy prices. But how much more will be needed to keep these chimneys pumping out steam, such a distinctive site in South Wales? Tata says it's committed to the future of this plant, but nothing's guaranteed. For Graham, whose father and grandfather were steelworkers here and whose son is too, there is a huge amount at stake.
I'm not just worried for myself and my son, I'm worried for the town as well and the surrounding valleys, because everybody relies on this industry to keep the town afloat and to keep poverty at bay.
Many think this is also about keeping cheap Chinese imports at bay, but that is proving a profound challenge for this ever-contracting British industry.